Okay, so in the 3:30 kickoff game that will be taking place today in a few hours time in midday, right? Kaizer Chiefs Amakosi take on Richards Bay FC at the FNB Stadium, right? So obviously Kaizer Chiefs come into this one with massive confidence, a massive morale boost due to the fact that they come into this game with back-to-back away victories over Moroka Swallows, their Soweto rivals, as well as Polokwane City not so long ago at the Peter Mokaba Stadium. So Kaizer Chiefs are high on confidence, registering two important victories on the road, back to back, and that was Kevin Johnson's third victory in 5 games already. Not a bad record, not a bad start for the former Platinum Stars and SuperSport United mentor. Not a bad record so far. 3 wins in 5 games is a pretty much positive start, to say the least. Although you should be aiming for 5 in 5. When you're a coach of Kaizer Chiefs, understanding the caliber of the club, you should be aiming for 5 in 5. But it's good for a start. Those victories are important, and those victories are certainly will be a turning point for Kaizer Chiefs this season going ahead, right? Because we all know Kaizer Chiefs haven't started the season very well. They started the season very poorly, which saw the sacking of Coach Molefe Ntseke after a very dismal run of results, which also saw them getting knocked out of the Carling Knockout Cup in the first round to Amazulu. Fellow KZN rivals to Richards Bay FC. So coming into this one, obviously Kaizer Chiefs will be buoyed by the fact that Ashley Dupree, Dylan Solomons, as well as Teboho Potsani have returned from injury and are fit for selection against Richards Bay FC. And what we can also confirm with you guys is that Siathemba Sithebe has also resumed training following a lengthy spell on the sidelines, as well as we all are aware of all the notable absentees for Amakosi, which include Itumelo Nkune, Keegan Dolly, as well as Titi Ditlokwe, who Titi Ditlokwe as well as Keegan Dolly are still out nursing their injuries, while as unfortunately for Itumelo Nkune, the veteran goalkeeper, is still serving suspension following misconduct. And then what we could actually say on the side of Richards Bay FC, the Natal Rich Boys have only collected 4 points on the road this season, and they've been very dismal throughout the season. I guess 2023 has not been their best year, Richards Bay FC, because Richards Bay FC have only registered 5 wins in 34 games in all competitions throughout 2023 coming into this game against Kaizer Chiefs. Only 5 games in 34 matches throughout the entire year in all competitions, which shows how woeful they've been. They've had a dismal 2023, have Richards Bay FC, and hopefully this is a year that they would love to forget. And it doesn't get easy, because now they come against a high-flying Kaizer Chiefs team that are high on confidence, away from home. They've already won 2 games on the trot away from home, have Amakosi. So now Richards Bay traveling to Kaizer Chiefs at the FNB Stadium, it only complicates matters, for them, with this woeful season that they've had and the dismal 2023 that they've had. But they will be looking up to players like Sanele Barnes for some inspiration, because we understand Sanele Barnes has been in fine form this season. He's been monitored by big clubs, including Kaizer Chiefs, as well as Orlando Pirates. Sanele Barnes has already got 3 goals in 12 matches and a few assists to his name, and he was also on target in that 3-2 defeat in the KZN derby against Royal AM at the Harry Gwala Stadium in Pietermaritzburg about 2 weeks ago. So Sanele Barnes has been like I said, Sanele Barnes has been instrumental for Richards Bay in their attack. At least he did play a pivotal role in those victories that Richards Bay did secure this season, securing a victory away to Moroka Swallows about a few months ago, right? That was their first league victory of the season, and they also did a double in the cup against Moroka Swallows in the Carling Knockout Cup, and they also won against fellow strugglers, the team that they only lead by 6 points on the log, Cape Town Spurs. So that was their last victory. From that point onwards, it has still been downhill, because they have lost 2 games on the trot in all competitions coming into this clash against the Glamour Boys, right? And what we could also say, as for Richards Bay FC, remember they've only played 3 games against Kaizer Chiefs. Both of these teams have only played 3 games against each other. Obviously, Amakosi did the double over Richards Bay last season, winning both of those games by a goal to nil. Even though in the first game that they played against each other, which Kaizer Chiefs was the home team at the Moses Mabhida Stadium, we saw Richards Bay were by far the better team than Amakosi that game. Amakosi only won by a goal to nil via the penalty spot, which was converted by right back Dylan Solomons, right? And Richards Bay, remember last season they started off like a house on fire. They started off very well. I just don't know what went wrong. I think 2023 is what went wrong, because from that point onwards, following that 2-0 defeat to Mamelodi Sundowns early in the year, in the second half of last season, I think that was just like, it was signaling the beginning of what was to become a disaster. Because throughout the second half of last season, they didn't even win a single game. They just survived. They merely survived. They were just fortunate enough that the other teams that had a woeful record was Maritzburg United, as well as including relegated Moroka FC. So, they were just very fortunate, were Richards Bay FC, including Chipper United. So those are teams that were very fortunate. At least Chipper United are having a much better season compared to the season they had last. But coming back to Richards Bay, remember these teams have won. They've met 3 times, and Richards Bay will be buoyed by the fact that they have beaten Kaizer Chiefs before, which was in 2021. In 2021, when they did knock out Kaizer Chiefs in the Nedbank Cup round of 32 clash. That was the first round when they knocked out Kaizer Chiefs at the FNB Stadium, and that was a shock. That was a shock, and maybe they will take inspiration from that game coming into this one, coming into this clash, in order for them to also cause another potential upset, which is possible. But though, understanding the fact that I sincerely believe that Kaizer Chiefs will win this game, they will make it 3 in a row for the first time this season. Because remember, they have won 2 games on the trot for the second time this season, and they will be looking to actually continue that winning momentum going forward, and this will be their first time this season winning 3 on the trot, and Kaizer Chiefs will be looking up to players like Pule Modi, who has been on fine scoring form. He played a pivotal role in the game in that 1-0 victory over Polokwane City, and he was also very instrumental in that 1-0 victory against Moroka Swallows. Before that, he played very well. He had a decent game, and he has shown what he's actually capable of. It's just a matter of consistency, also, as well as with the right coaching. Pule Modi can still play an instrumental role in Amakosi's season, right? And you also have players like Nkosi Philile Ngcobo, who has been on fine form. He has done so well ever since being reinstated into the starting lineup. He had a decent game against Polokwane City. I just believe that he was just not helped by his midfield partners, which is Yusuf Mart. Sibongiseni Mteto has also had a wonderful few games here and there, although it took him a little bit of time to actually adapt to the Kaizer Chiefs style of play, but he has really adapted. He has really adapted so well, and you can see actually like he will be a pivotal asset to Kaizer Chiefs in this game against the Natal Rich Boys. As for Yusuf Mart, there's a bit of inconsistency with him, a bit of inconsistency, because I was just not too convinced with his performance against Polokwane City. I just think that he was just not really combining well with Nkosi Philile Ngcobo as well as Mteto, because as you could see in that game, Nkosi Philile Ngcobo had to do more than what he was required from him, right? Nkosi Philile Ngcobo had to go up and down. He had to defend and he had to attack, right? He was even doing Yusuf Mart's job of actually like tracking back, winning those balls, getting into the spaces, creating those pivotal passes, and that was some of the things that Mart was supposed to do. You understand? And that's one thing Mart didn't do in that previous game against Polokwane City. But luckily, Kaizer Chiefs, they were just fortunate to get away with it, because if you look at Polokwane City, how they actually played in that second half, Polokwane City were way much better in the last 20 minutes of that game. But because, obviously, credit has to just go to the Kaizer Chiefs defense, as well as goalkeeper Bruce Vuma, who made telling saves to keep Amakosi in the game, to keep the 3 points intact. And actually, if you look at it right now, the defensive pairing between Milton Dove as well as giving him Simango at the back, I'm still really asking a lot of questions because I still see a lot of gaps between them. You know, as a central defensive partnership, you cannot leave a lot of gaps in between y'all. There cannot be a lot of gaps between y'all. You understand? And that's one thing they're gonna have to look at, and they're gonna have to really work on. As well as Uhlanti. Uhlanti, as well as a player, he's very versatile, right? He can play as a center back. He can also play on the left hand side. He can also play in the midfield position. But though, what I'm saying with Uhlanti is that he looks like a player who's really not really confident, you know, because he likes to play long balls unnecessarily, like just crossing the ball into the box unnecessarily when there are not a lot of numbers, you know, when there are not a lot of options in the box, in the penalty area to actually give Chiefs that attacking threat, right? So those are also one of the things that Kaizer Chiefs need to look on. They need to actually work more on keeping possession, you know, because they have this thing of struggling of not being able to keep the ball. They give away possession far too easily, far too cheaply, you know. And another thing that they also need to work on is like managing the game. You understand? They need to manage the game more effectively. They need to be able to keep possession, manage the game effectively, especially if they're in leading positions, you know. And they also need to be more clinical in front of goal and capitalize more on their chances in order for them to actually finish the season strongly after a poor start. Right. So we will see you at the FNB Stadium. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I hope you did enjoy this video. And please also mention your own analysis and predictions. We'll be in touch pretty soon, man. Cheers.